Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on issue 5 of Ultimate X-Men. Now, as you know, Ultimate X-Men was the next line after Ultimate Spider-Man. That was meant to be more of a reimagining and more of a different take on the X-Men series, which the X-Men series was taking place in the main Marvel continuity. The point of Ultimate X-Men was meant to be a more cleaner, more fresher slate, and keep in mind the early issues were done by Mark Millar, who only seen the first two X-Men movies. So the cover has Colossus looking proud and all bulked up. So the story mainly starts off after issue 4. We see how the House of Parliament gets blown up, and we kind of see everyone panicking, saying, "What's going on here? The Brotherhood of Mutants just bombed Parliament, and the bloody MI6 building, mate." And of course, they kind of see that I put the crowd control, but turns out it's the Brotherhood of Mutants that bombed the House of Parliament and are using disguises. And you can tell Cyclops isn't pleased with them bombing the Parliament and was supposed to be doing it to get everyone out. But of course, this was part of Quicksilver's plan to prevent Blair from releasing a fleet of British Sentinels. And of course, we kind of see how they make their getaway, much to Cyclops' dismay, knowing that they're going to be taking things too far. We see how at a sort of apartment area, we kind of see how Wolverine and Jean Grey are worried about Cyclops, and it's kind of clear that Wolverine doesn't really care about Cyclops. And later on, we see how Professor X and the X-Men meet with the President, and turns out they now know where the Savage Land is and where Magneto is hiding. And of course, we see how Bolivar Trask points out they discovered the hologram and where the X-Jet was heading. And we kind of see how Storm says, "Ready to go, Cyclops." "Quiet, Storm. Does this mean you're preparing an attack?" And of course, we kind of see how the President points out that this is their only solution, and knowing that Magneto and his followers are too dangerous to be kept alive. But of course, they know that Cyclops is still on the island, but we kind of see how the President is left with no other options. And you can tell Xavier makes it clear that provoking Magneto is going to be dangerous. And we see the President saying, "I'm sorry, Professor. That's a chance we just have to take." And you can tell he does regret it and does know, yeah, it's going to come with repercussions. And we see them release a whole army of Sentinels. And of course, we see Magneto talking with Cyclops, and we kind of see how he points out that everything they're doing is for the greater good. And we kind of see how Cyclops isn't going to kill anyone and does seem to regret his actions. And we see how even Magneto points out about his family that got killed in another previous war. I know in the Ultimate continuity, Magneto had different origins, and it was just kind of clear that no one really kept up to date with which origin was legit. And of course, tries to reassure him they're doing things for the greater good. And of course, we kind of see how Cyclops makes it clear that he's not going to kill for Magneto, and even points about that Scarlet Witch is going to be doing a rehearsal at the drama room, and points out about a new mutant language he's invented and wants everyone to learn it after summer. And he even says, "Oh, and Cyclops, yeah? This might sound like an unusual request, but if Quicksilver is around, would you do me a favor and address me as father when we're standing in his presence?" And of course, we kind of see how outside the city, we kind of see how Quicksilver is annoyed that his father seems to hate him, but we kind of see how Scarlet Witch tries to reassure him that he does care about him, and he just sees him and her as kind of reminders of their previous lives when him and their mum were still together. But of course, Quicksilver sees that a whole army of Sentinels are around, destroys everything in their path, killing every man, woman, and child. And this is where we see Magneto at his fullest, controlling the Sentinels. And of course, changing their programmings and dropping it all into Washington DC as a counterattack. And this is where we see that Xavier was right, and that Scott Summers now realised what he was trying to prevent. And even lets Professor X know they've got a bigger problem. And yeah, this is issue 5. So I think it's kind of okay. Like I said, I know the point of Magneto wiring these Sentinels would later be used in Wolverine and the X-Men, as well as the film X-Men Days of Futures Past. I get it that issue 5 is kind of building up to what we were going to get, and it does kind of seem like Mark Millar was told that he had to throw in whatever he could, even though the point of building the X-Men is taking time and trying to figure out what X-Men character would fit for the story. But it's still an okay issue, and I still give it a thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, but kind of okay. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.